How about now? Can you hear me now?
Miss,
Still
Mr.
can't hear me?
Carpenter, I can't hear you.
Still can't? Oh, Jesus. Why not? How about now?
I can hear you.
Okay, I can hear you now.
Okay. Hi, everybody. It's 9 o'clock on a Sunday night. Hi, Glenda. You going to start or you want me to start it?
You go ahead and start.
Okay, everybody. Hi, welcome to Sunday Night at 9. My name is Rufus Carpenter, my co-host, Coach Glenda. What we normally do is we get together on every Sunday night at 9, and the framework is pretty easy. What we do is we talk about relationship type items, and the framework is that you and 20 of your girlfriends are in the living room, and you're talking about some things that's interesting to you about relationships. It can be anything you want to talk. Well, we bring the topic, but you bring anything out about a topic you want. Anything that you had a question about, anything you had problems with, or anything you just want to know. Or if something's on your mind, you have a burning desire to let it out or share it with us, you feel free to do that. Now, you can get in as much or as little as you want, meaning that you can get in and like we are, you can show your face, or you not show your face, you can talk, you can be part of the discussion. We encourage that because this is what we're doing here tonight and every Sunday night is we're giving you a chance to talk, because a lot of times women and men want to talk, but there's nowhere they can do that on the internet right now. You can't come in and share your concerns or questions. And we want to be the ones that purveyors of that. We want to give you that opportunity to talk. All right, once again, my name is Rufus Carpenter, and my interest in this space, in the relationship space, is a little different than most. Mine first started, I'm from a family of 14 kids, and my brothers and sisters and 2 adults lived in a 3-bedroom, 1-bathroom house. And if you know anything about space and 1 bathroom with 14 siblings, and especially if you had to sleep with about 4 of them at one time and deal with occasional bedwetter, Jesus, you learn what the human connection is all about. Okay, my story didn't stop there. I was married for 27 years to the same lady, and we had a beautiful time. And if you know anything about being married that long, you learn a thing about commitment. You learn a thing about communication. You definitely learn about loyalty and compromise, without a doubt. With that, I understood a lot more of the intricacies. I can't even say it now. I'm all excited because I got my brother online, so I'm all excited. So I with that, you learn what it is to have a deeper connection. My story still didn't stop there. I joined the United States Army, and in the Army, I was trained as an equal opportunity, race, and relationship leader, which means I had a responsibility of dealing with any relationship issue in the unit. I had a responsibility of being the first responder, and I had to do the first intake form on any of that. And I had to decide who handled that problem. So I have a diverse background in this space, and I definitely represent the male perspective. I feel more than qualified to let you know what the guys are talking about. Okay, Glenda, you want to tell a little about yourself before I get any further?
Okay, I'll just give them a brief snapshot. Okay. I'm Coach Glenda, and I was in a 8-year marriage that did not serve me well, where I was mentally, physically, and sexually abused, but God had a better plan for me. After 10 years of struggling as a divorcee and a single mom of 2, I was able to get my life back on track. I moved from Virginia to Georgia, where I had little to no family, and I started a brand new life. But after all of that was said and done, me and Mr. Carpenter, my course manager, we were able to put this program together. So people that are in relationships that are able to discuss their trials, struggles, and their victories in past and present relationships. Now, as far as today's topic, I am so excited to share tonight's topic with you tonight. Tonight's topic is the 5 love languages. Now, I had skimmed over some of the information that was sent out to me, and I don't want to jump the gun because I know Mr. Carpenter, he already has everything outlined and everything is in order the way he wants it to be done. But what I do want to do is I want to just give you just because usually he kind of like spoon feeds us the topics, okay, we're working, that's on the next segment. You got a little bit ahead of us. So with that being said, I'm just going to let y'all know what the 5 love languages are. And then Mr. Carpenter is going to chime in and speak on the topics. Is that okay with you, Mr. Carpenter?
That's perfect. That's what we need tonight.
Okay. All right. I'm gonna be your backup singer tonight. Okay.
Okay.
All right. The first one is words of affirmation. That is the first language of love. Okay. The second one is acts of service. Now, I know for myself, I know a lot about that one, so I can't wait till we get to that point. The next one is receiving gifts. The next one is quality time. That's another good one too. That's one of my favorites. I can't wait to chime in on that one as well. And then the last is physical touch. Now, the past 2 weeks, we had some hot topics. I just want to throw this in here. I know Mr. Carpenter he's gonna feel as if I'm taking over his job. But last week and the week before, last week on the 17th, we had sex talks, navigating intimacy in relationships. So when we talk about physical touch, we can probably pull back some of the conversation and some of the feedback from that week. And then last week, we talked about, let's see. I got it here. I got it. Let's see, we said recognizing and respecting individual boundaries. So that's a good one. So we're going to be pulling some of the information from both of those topics for the past 2 weeks in today's discussion. Mr. Carpenter, you want to go ahead and start us off?
Okay. Angela says Angela's unable to get sound. Tell her, Angela, well, put in the text so she can see it. Tell her she might need to log out and log back in. Unless you want to check to see if we have her closed on ours. She shouldn't. I think we got her open, so have her do that. Okay, thank you, Glenda, for that, letting us know what the 5 love languages are. But here in relationship, you deal with the law of first learning, or first mention, because where did love first come from? Where was love first mentioned in history? That's the first thing we have to decide, find out. And I think I found that out for us. Love was first mentioned in the Bible, Genesis 22, chapter 22 and verse 2, when God asked Abraham to sacrifice his loved son, because God knew that Abraham loved Isaac so much that he knew that if he told Abraham to sacrifice Isaac, who he loved so much, then that proved that he was a true prophet of God. So God told him to do that. And he had a problem with it, but he followed God and went to do that. And I guess you guys know the rest of the story, the ram in the bush. So that was it. So that was the first, when love was first mentioned in the Bible. So that's the law first mentioned. Okay, now, when you talk about love, and the day is Resurrection Sunday, so we'll get to that in a few minutes. But when I went to the Bible, I said, what's the definition of love? So I went to the Bible. The Bible definition of love is love that sacrifices itself again, that first expect nothing in return. It grants the believer a peace that surpasses all understanding, which comes only from Christ. Once again, love is that it sacrifices itself, that gives first and expect nothing in return. So you're sacrificing yourself, and you give of yourself without looking for anything in return. And then it says it grants the believer a peace that surpasses all understanding, that only comes from Christ. And the day is Happy Resurrection Sunday, and no greater love than John 3:16. God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten son. And I think we all know that. And so Christ died on the cross today for us. That event is set all of us up for the rest of our lives, that we can pass on to heaven, to greater things, to have more life abundantly. And this is not a sermon today, but I just want to let you know where love first came from, first mentioned in the Bible, and it was Genesis chapter 22, verse 2. Okay, and that's Isaac. Everybody know the story of the ram in the bush. That was the very first test of love. And a good thing Abraham passed it, okay? Now, let's get into the 5 love languages. Now, the 5 love languages was written by a Dr. Chaplin. I think his first name was Jerry, in 1991. He said, how do you express love? And he wrote the book, and that's the 5 love languages. And Glenda told you what the 5 love languages are, and we're gonna go through them one at a time. But before we go through them, I want you to think about, how do you express your love? How do you express your love with your boo, your husband, your wife, your girlfriend? I'm not gonna say side chick, because we're not talking about that. Or the man on the side. We ain't going there, because we ain't going there. But how do you show love? How do you do that? And then how do you receive love? And how do you want to be loved? That's what the night topic really is. How do you give love? How do you receive love? How do you want to be loved? How do you know if you're being loved? How do you know if the love is true? So when you say, baby, I love you, what are you really telling her? So these are some things that we're going to talk about, and I don't want to be the only one talking, but I'm giving you the basis so we can talk, we can share this, and I want everybody's point of view of this. And I want you first to talk about, how do you show your love? And Glenda called them all out, and I'll go through them again to make sure you know, because we want to let everybody know that the essence of a relationship is love. If love is the essence of a relationship, you first have to understand love. And the very first person you need to love is yourself. Right. Because believe it or not, some people don't love themselves. Some people are the worst enemy to themselves. And how you said, Rufus, what are you talking about? Okay, one, you let your body go, you don't clean yourself up, you don't do gym, you don't exercise, don't eat right, you don't sleep right, all these things. You put stuff in your body that don't make sense, all these things, you do all kind of stuff. But you first got to love yourself, because if you don't love yourself, how can you give from an empty cup? If you empty, you can't help me. And if you're broken or damaged, you really can't help me, because hurt people, okay? So let's make sure we understand that. All right, first one, she said, words of affirmation. What did that mean? That means that you use language, you talk, the way you speak, the way you talk, the way you say, hey, baby, I love you. Hey, baby, how can I be more supportive? You let them know, you actually said, you voice the words out. You communicate the love. You can feel it in the person, the tone they say it. You look in their eyes as they say it to you. You get the feeling, you get the passion from it. That's the first one. Now, I'm going to go through all 5 of them, and then we're going to talk about them one at a time. How do you show your love? You remember that commercial, how do you spell relief? Right. This is how do you show love. That's what we're doing today. All right, everybody, any questions about that first one first before we go any further? Anybody, any questions about the words of affirmation?
No.
We got it, everybody? Can I move on to the next one?
Yes.
Okay. Now, acts of service. Acts of service. This is a good one. Acts of service can be anything. It could be all kind of things. It could be you feel that you help washing the dishes, like the guy, like the wife or the girlfriend may be out shopping, and when she come home, the guy have made the dinner's ready, and everything's prepped for the night or the next day or like that. Or it could be that you do all of the things around the house, or you do the things, you set the vacations, and you go ahead and order the plane tickets. It's the things that you do the physical things that you do to let your boo or significant other know that they're that important to you, that you love them. Okay, any questions about that one before I go on? We got that? Mm-hmm. All right, the next one, receiving gifts. Receiving gifts. Receiving gifts can be little things, or it can be big things. It can be as big as a car. It could be as small as a flower. It could be a gym membership. It could be, give me that look, Glenda. Some men like to go to the gym. I want to go lift weights or something. That might be that might be a good gift for me. I don't know, but I don't
that
do
goes two ways. They might be saying, baby, you gained a little too much weight. Let me help you out a little bit.
And that's that. And see, they're communicating in a great way. See, that's awesome. That's awesome. That's better than saying you lose 10. If you gain 10 more pounds, you out of here. That's better. That's a better route to say than that. Okay.
Okay.
Now, any questions about receiving gifts or giving gifts?
No.
It should be receiving gift. Okay. Now, next one, quality time. I was told one time, how do you spell love? And somebody told me Time. I think they were telling me that because this is my time. I spend my time working to do other things. So the Time was maybe to tell me that that's their love language. They want time, quality time.
Right.
Now, quality time is good because especially when you first get in a relationship, if you notice when you first get in a relationship, you want to be around each other all the time. When I'm not with you, I want to call you. I just want to text you. I want to send you something. I want to be in your face 24/7. That's normally when you first get together.
Exactly.
As the distance and time start getting together, then you start spreading your time out a little bit. But we've got people that their love language is time, and they never fade. That time never erodes. They always want to be there. They always want to be in your face. Always want to know where you at. That's that. They always, that time is how they love and how they share love and how they receive love. Okay.
Okay.
Now, last one is physical touch. Have you noticed when you're talking to somebody and they put the hand on your shoulder, seem like the conversation just seem like a peace come over you?
No.
Touch. Well, I've had that feeling, Glenda. Okay. You're sheltered a little bit more than I am, but especially if you touch a feely. I'm not gonna call your name, Glenda, but you touchy feely. When you touch a feely somebody, that's touch. That physical touch. Sometimes a person says when they touch you, you touch them and they touch you, that electricity happens. Something really transpires. It makes all the difference in the world when you can have that touch. Some people need that physical touch. Without the physical touch, they feel like she don't love me. He don't love me. He don't care. He never touched me. And physical touch can be simple touch on the hand. It could be a hug. It could be in full embrace. It could be sexual, or however that touch equates to you. But if you don't touch me, and that's my love language, then I'm thinking, what's wrong?
Okay.
What's wrong? You don't love me no more. And a lot of people feel that in relationships, when the intimacy or the sex when the sex stop happening, they don't love me no more. A lot of people kind of get it kind of mixed up. They think the sex is the love. That one act for them is love.
No.
Some people feel that way. Hey, some people feel that way, but there's more to it than that. Now, those are the 5 love languages. Those are the 5 love languages. Now, let's open this up for discussion. We want to know, what's your love language? How do you show love or compassion? And then we'll talk about how do you want to receive it. So let's first talk about how you're going to show it, and then we'll go into the receiving part. Okay. Who wants to go first? All right, I'll go first. I'll start us off.
Okay.
My love language is acts of service.
Oh.
That's how I love, and it's because when I was a kid, when I was a kid, I remember when I was about maybe 7, somewhere between 6, 7, and 8. I was in that age. And in our house, in our family, it was 14 kids, so we never had enough of anything. So everybody had to contribute. So when I went out, I would go out on the weekends and get pop bottles, and I would go cut wood for people, and I would rake people yards and stuff. And I remember this one time I had made about $35 and some cents. And I took that $35 and sent home to my mom. And my mom's old baby, she just cried and kissed me and gave me, I think she gave me $1.35 for myself. So this is yours. My mama made me feel so proud then. From that point on, I told myself that I'm always going to be a contributor. I'm always going to do my part. I'm always going to provide for my family. I'm always going to pitch in. And that stayed with me. That kind of like started me on my hero's journey. Mm-hmm. Ever since then, I've always tried to provide. So that's my love language, and the touch, the physical touch. Those are my things. I like to touch you. We talk, I put my hands on you, I touch you. That's me. All right. Who wants to go next? Any questions of mine? Before I go next? Who want to be next?
Well, I know for myself, the acts of service, I'm big on the small things, because by being so independent, because I do most of everything myself. Like if my car needs to be serviced, I take it to the shop myself. I don't change no tires, the AAA better come out real quick. But like take my trash out. I'm big on that. When I'm in a relationship, the small stuff like that is what I pay attention to. If I cooked you a nice meal, maybe you can take the trash out at the end of the night.
We on what you do, not what they do yet. We ain't got that part yet. We on how you show yours.
Okay. Right, well, I can flip the script. Way. Oh,
all right.
My bad, sir. Okay. Well, my ex is how
do you show
I know
up?
that a lot of men that I've dated, they're not big on cooking. So I like to play in the kitchen. So every now and again, not that often, I like to cook, maybe a home cooked meal for them. They get hooked real quick and they want it all the time, but you got to spoon feed them sometimes. So I show how much I care about them and how much I love them by cooking them a meal, because I know that, eating out is expensive, as well as sometimes it can be not so healthy. And sometimes I also, other things I do is, if they're sick or not feeling well, I volunteer to bring them sliced oranges, maybe orange juice, maybe even take them to the doctor, check their blood pressure, something like that that shows that I care about them, their health and well-being, as well as, that also lets them know that they're not in it by themselves, whatever they're going through. So that's how I show. And I start with the small stuff, because if you start too strong out the gate, that can set you up, because whatever you start, men and women want you to continue that. Yes. And if they're not reciprocating, then that causes problems. It's like, well, I remember. Yes, I remember too. You better hold on to those memories. But you never stepped up, so I had to pull back. So it's the little stuff. I try not to do too much, but I like to do small stuff, from the cooking of the meals, the orange juice, the sliced oranges. Even when during the pandemic, I know that the guy I was dating, his mother had problems. His mother and his sister had problems finding Lysol and the Clorox wipes. I had a few friends. We would let each other know when the stores were in stock, and we would purchase for each other. And I would get baskets together and let him take them home. So I showed him that I cared about him as well as his family, health and well-being, by giving them Lysol and the Clorox wipes.
Okay, good deal. Good deal. I was trying to read the chats while you're doing that.
Oh, no problem. No problem.
Now, hey, Andre, let's hear from Andre. Andre, how do you show love, Andre?
I will say I was kind of thinking about it as you all were speaking, and I think one of the things for me, which is a blessing and a curse, is that I think I help people feel emotionally safe. And I think when people feel emotionally safe around you, they are willing to be themselves, but then sometimes they be too much of themselves, I guess, because they know they can trust you with anything, and you're like, wait, I didn't sign up for all of this.
Now we're talking about how you show love now. So let's make sure, yeah, you show love out of those 5 love languages, or you might have something else to do outside of those love languages.
Well, that's what I was saying. Like when I meet people in general, for whatever strange reason, I'm a non-judgmental person, number one, and it takes a whole lot to make me angry. So it's like you could truly come as you are, and I think a lot of people appreciate being able to have that emotional security with me. So that's a blessing for them in a sense, but then it becomes a curse for me at times.
Okay, so you added a 6th one. So what you're saying is you saying your vulnerability and you're providing a safe haven for them to be themselves. So you're saying more like that's your love language.
Yeah, so in essence, like if I meet you from day one, if you don't have your wig on, it's okay. I'm good with that.
Okay. All right. So your vulnerability and your ability to accept people as they are is your love language.
Correct.
Awesome. Okay, that's good. That's outside of the box. So that's good.
That wouldn't fall under words. Well, I mean, based off his conversation with the individual, that wouldn't fall under words of affirmation, or
if he talked it, it would. If he didn't talk it, if he let the person know by his actions versus his conversation, it wouldn't be words of affirmation.
Okay.
Because sometimes you can go to a person and your smile, the way the softness in your mannerism with them can let them know that they're safe. They can read that without you saying a word.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, because you can tell when their frequency, especially if their frequency is different than your frequency, it makes all the difference in the world. Because you can feel that peace within people.
Okay.
And I know Andre, so Andre's correct. He really do make you feel like you're safe around him. So it works. It works well. It works well. Who else want to go next? But let's hear from Felicia, because Felicia's my favorite. Come on, Felicia. How do you show love?
Felicia, you on mute.
You always cause me trouble.
What can I say?
You're trying to get me in trouble. For me, I used to always show love with words, I guess, acts of love, acts of service.
Okay.
That used to be my what I always started out with, and in most relationships, by providing, acts of service, always doing and being available and helping out, and just being, like Glenda said, cooking and taking one for the team, and just always being, don't laugh, Glenda. And then I got to the point where I felt like I was being taken for granted.
Yes.
That act of service was not working to my advantage, that it was being more so that it became, I didn't feel appreciated for that act of service as my way of showing love. It was being taken for granted. So I started pulling back from that. And so now in relationships or friendships, if they exist, I treat them now just words of affirmation, and basically words that include words of basically words of encouragement.
Mm-hmm.
So just kind of get you on your way encouragement, kind of, just words of affirmation, not necessarily words that say like, I love you words,
Right.
but just more of words of affirmation and consistent with words of support is how I now handle it now. And then if I feel like I get to the point where the acts of service come into play, then I may resort to that at that point. But I no longer start out with acts of service.
Right. That's understandable.
So
okay. All right. Who else want to pitch in? Because this is your chance to get yours out there, and we're gonna talk. We're just gonna have some fun with this. So let me hear from someone else. Who else want to jump out there?
Oh, okay. Wait a second.
Wayne,
I think Andrea wants to say something.
Oh, but let Wayne Parker go first, because
I know that's Andrea.
Oh, I'm sorry. I apologize. Go ahead, Andrea.
Hi, my name is Andrea, and I'm Glenda's sister.
Hey, beautiful.
Okay.
And this is my first time coming on to the Zoom meeting with you guys.
Okay.
And I'm thoroughly enjoying what I'm hearing.
Okay.
And my acts of service is communication. I love to talk and get my point out right out the gate. Because if you don't lay it all out on the line on front, then everything goes left instead of right. And Felicia said it best. Don't come out with too much, because you'll be in big trouble. Got to start off real slow. But communication is the key to any relationship.
Okay. Now, you got another love language other than just that one, or just pretty much who you are?
I've got some acts of love, treating my significant other sometimes out on occasions, doing little nice things without really, wanting anything back. I do my acts of service by taking them out, treating them to lunch or dinner, cooking them breakfast and stuff like that. It's the little things that count the most, more so than the big things. The big gifts, the cars, a phone,
Yes. Okay.
not really, objects,
Okay. Awesome. Thank you. Thank you for that. I appreciate it.
Type love. You got that inner type love stuff. Your love is surrounded by a lot of stuff, but most people see it as gifts. Property.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to always show your love and affection that way.
Not with money.
Not with money.
And that's why we brought this right here, Way, because a lot of in the African American community, we're not loving the way we should, and we have to set example for the people coming behind us, our children, our grandchildren. We have to show them, because in the older days, a lot of people didn't show affection. They didn't show it at all. Because I never saw my mother and father hug nor kiss.
Right.
So if you never see it, how do you get it? And I don't want my kids or my grandkids to get it from the TV or movies. I want them to get it from us. Okay. So thank you for that. Who's next? Go ahead, Felicia. Go ahead.
No, I was just going to piggyback on what you were saying. It should be found in home and in the home, but I guess the upcoming generations, they're so much into social media where they're getting, they're missing something. They're not getting exactly what they need, because what's on TV and what's on social media is really not what love is really all about. That's just glamour and glitz and stuff like that. That's not the real hardcore stuff, the foundation of making your relationship successful. And it's definitely not, our everyday person, 9-to-5 person, that's not their way of showing love. We don't have Beyonce money to go out there and take you across, to another country. If you do, hey, more power to you. I can't do it. But, like Andrea was saying, cooking you breakfast and, taking you out to eat every now and again, those are small acts that we can relate to. But as well as Felicia said tonight, don't start out too strong, because they will expect that going forward, and they will not. And, men and women will not reciprocate. They're always in the mood of receiving, never giving back. And then even though, because you love somebody, you're really not expecting anything in return, but every now and again, outside of a thank you, it would be nice.
Okay. All right, let's hear from a few more people, because we're going to address something you said, but I don't want to get in that until we've got a few more people talking.
Okay.
Cheryl, let's see Cheryl. Where's Cheryl? Cheryl Simmons. Cheryl Simmons, let me hear your what's your love language?
My love language is I like to give. And I'm like them. I fill people out so I don't get used. And I start off with just little things, simple things, like maybe if you need me to run an errand and you don't have time, or just something simple. And then I fill you out and see how you are. And I might give a little bit more as it goes on. And I'm a touchy person, so I like to touch. I like to fill you out and see, if you're for real. And I pick touch because I like to see you physically, not just only just talk to you on the phone.
Right.
So that's basically it.
You like that quality time, Cheryl.
Yep, that's me, quality time.
Awesome. Let's hear from somebody new. Mildred, Miss Reed.
Yes.
How do you show love? What's your love language?
Words of affirmation.
Okay.
Physical touch and quality time.
Go ahead.
You got 3. Go ahead. That's awesome. That's awesome. That's awesome. Awesome. Let's get one more before we slide into
Ava, you want to chime in?
Sure, why not? Okay, I have a couple of them. My first one is service. I'm a cooker. I love to cook, and I will do that. I don't think of it as a burden, so you can't use me. I like to do it. Right. I've always been a nurturer, between, when I was little. I would always cook for my mom. I was in the kitchen at 7, 8 years old. Mm-hmm. So that's something I enjoy to do. The other is touch. Mm-hmm. I'm a hugger. I like to touch, and sometimes I'll, if I'm sleeping with a partner, I'll just, in the middle of the night, just have to put my foot on them, just to touch them. And then time. I'll make time to be with, whoever I'm with. They come first sometimes.
Right. That's priority. Yes.
Mm-hmm. That's it.
Awesome. Yep. Thank you. Anybody else want to share in any way how they love before we ask how you want to receive love? Anybody else? Sabrina, let me hear Sabrina. Sabrina, you used to be one of our partners. Sabrina, how do you show love?
Words of affirmation. Time is a big one for me. Mm-hmm. That's a major one. I'm all about time. I love spending time with my partner, and I will cook, not too much, but I will. If I have to, I'll cook for us. But my biggest thing is time. I love spending quality time with my kids. I enjoy that. I enjoy being in their presence, and I can be a little touchy-feely, just a little, not too much, but a little. But my biggest thing is time.
Awesome. Thank you for that. You guys have shared some wonderful stuff. I really appreciate you sharing. It makes a difference. Now let's flip the script a little bit. How do you want to be loved? What is it about those love languages that you want to be loved? You go ahead. I guess you're chomping at the bits. Go ahead.
I need to be made a priority. I need that quality time. I don't have to see you every day. I don't want to be smothered, but I need to know that I am a priority. I want you to make some efforts, maybe every, couple of months, a weekend getaway, come over. Hey, I was thinking about you and I thought I'd bring you something to eat. I'm a very picky eater. So if we're dating, then, you should know what I like and what I don't like. So you could swing by and drop something off on your way home. It's stuff like that. Or, sweetie, do you need me to get your car washed? I know you're working a lot, and you can call the guy to wash it while you're at home working, and I'll just cash app you the money. Stuff like that. I want to be made feel like I'm a priority. And I need that time too. Like I want to put emphasis on it, because I used to date somebody that was a smotherer and he called it territory. I said, no, sir, I am not a dog. You're not a German Shepherd. I'm not a Chihuahua. I said, this is just too much. But I need us to spend that time, because that lets me know that you're thinking about me, I'm thinking about you. We can't wait to see each other the next time. And like I said, it doesn't have to be every day, because we can talk on the phone too. And now with our smartphones, you have FaceTime. I mean, if I can do FaceTime with my sister and other relatives, I can do FaceTime with my boo. So I need to feel like a priority, and you need to make time for me, and you need to show me that I'm important to you. Because if you don't have that, you're like, I see him what I see. I guess we still dating. It keeps you wondering. You always have question marks in the back of your mind, like, what's going on? What are they doing? And that's when the devil comes in and starts planting bad seeds and thoughts in your mind about your partner. And sometimes it's really nothing going on. It's just that you don't feel important because you don't have that connection with the person, because you're not spending time with the person.
Got it. Thank you, Glenda. I appreciate that.
More than welcome. Anytime. Ask me again if you need me to chime in.
You good. You good. Annette, how do you want to be loved, Annette?
Oh my goodness gracious, I don't know. I like to be I like to be wine, dine, and
Go ahead on.
I like to know
Speak
that
your truth.
I like for them to know that, baby, what you need, I got it. How T-Pain or somebody say, tell them other broke niggas be quiet because I got it. That's what I like. I want to feel like, hey, you're gonna do what I need to have done. I'm willing to not be outrageous with what I want, but I just think what I want. And I'm a grown woman and I have learned what I want. I don't mind saying it. And I sometimes don't want to always say it, but I don't have a problem saying it. I just like for you to understand this is just what I want. Don't tell me, oh, you want too much or it costs too much or this or that. I know all of that, but this is just what I want. That's just the way I am.
There's nothing wrong with that.
That was nice, Annette. I appreciate that. Thank you for coming off like that, because that's awesome. Because communication, that communication really makes a difference. It makes a difference. Anybody else want to share how they want to be loved? Anybody else?
I do.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Okay, so I say it's time. I want my partner to be my ride or die. I want him to always make me feel that I am the most important thing in his life and that he has time for me. And I just want to give him all the time and let him know how important he is to me. And if he doesn't have time for me, then it makes me wonder, what are you doing with your time if you don't have time for me? So I just say time.
Awesome. That's great. That is great, because because when you're with that person, you really get to know where their heart's at. You spend the time. That's awesome. Anybody else want to share? Anybody else want to share their how they want to be loved?
Sure, I will.
Okay, go ahead.
I like the time aspect. Although we don't have to see each other every day, pick up the phone. Hey, I was just thinking about you. Simple as that. And I like the touch. Just something about, that touch, like right at the small of the back. You sitting there washing dishes or something, and they just come behind you and just touch you in that spot right there.
I know that's right.
That's it.
Hey,
All
Miss
right,
Glenn, we
then.
gotta learn that spot.
That'll be the next topic.
Awesome, that's nice.
What about yourself, Mr. Carpenter?
Well,
ahead.
I want to acts of service. That's a biggie, and it's not so much that that you got to do anything outlandish or anything out of the world. It's just that if you're part of me, if you share yourself with me, doing things together kind of helps. And I love touch. Touch. I think touch makes all the difference in the world. Because if you touch, your touch to me tells me a lot, because I'm big on that vibration, and when you touch, it's almost like a calibration for me, because I can tell by your touch, is it sincere or not. So the emotion, the intimacy of touch, that's my thing. You touch me right, you got me.
Oh.
Hey.
All right, you and Ava got something in common then.
But I ain't got no spot. Ava got to help me find a spot. I ain't got no spot.
Okay.
All right, anybody else? Hey, Bo, you new on the line. You wanna share how do you want to be loved?
Heart condition. Yeah.
You still with us, Bo? Did we lose you?
Drugs, lots of drugs.
Did we lose you?
He'd been in a motorcycle accident.
We must have lost him. All right, but we must have lost him. Okay. All right. Now, ask anybody else want to share how they want to be loved?
There's a Minnesota State ID in there.
Andre, you want to chime in?
Yeah, Andre. Yeah,
I will say this: if I knew the answer to that, I probably wouldn't be single.
Mr. Carpenter, I have a comment.
Yes, ma'am.
I can't say too much because my partner is right here listening, and but
that might be the reason why you didn't say it, so that way they can get you can fix it. If you can fix it.
Yeah. Okay. Well, the way I want to be shown love is I want the words of affirmation. I want the touch, and I want to be shown. So yes, that's how I like to be loved. I want to be told, and I want to be shown and touched.
Awesome. That's good. That's awesome. So, that's good. That's a lot of love there. That's a whole bunch of love. That's awesome.
Yeah.
That is awesome. Now we're getting to the last few minutes of the broadcast, so we're kind of winding this in. Anybody got anything they want to say about how they want to be loved before we start reeling this in? Anybody in the last comments before we start reeling it in? And the reason why we wanted to have done this, because we want you to first figure out, how do you want to be loved? How do you want someone? Well, how do you expect to be loved? First, you got to like Andre said. How do you expect to be loved? How do you want to be loved? How do you know? How do you? Somebody hit mute. What's that? Oh, okay. How do you want to be loved? How do you know you love? Because if you don't know, it's hard to gauge or calibrate the relationship. And then you should talk about it, because the way you give love, the person, your partner, receive it. You two are a union. You two work together. If you're giving and they're receiving, especially if they want what you're giving, it works. Now, if they don't want what you're giving, the calibration may be, you may have to talk about it. That's where communication is key.
Absolutely.
And then you find what you want. If you want touch and the person's never touching you, are you gonna settle?
No.
You gonna have conversation?
Yes.
Okay, so you're gonna have conversation before you walk.
Yes.
Now, if that person don't have the ability to change, because some people just don't have it. They, even in their best day, they can't be that. Right. So your choice is, do you go through the rest of your life or the rest of the relationship without it, or do you bounce?
You gotta give them time to fix it.
Okay. Okay, ladies. No, the average person on our line is somewhere between 30 and 50, 60 years old. Average person that's on this broadcast. Okay, if that's the case, at that age, how much time do you give a grown person to change?
And what are we looking for them to change? I just want
how they love you, how you need to be
Okay.
loved. Once they get to know who you are and they know your love language, how much time do you give them to change? Since we're all grown folk.
I know, right?
Yeah. What's a good time frame? Ladies, this is a lady question. This is not a guy question.
I want to answer it. Okay, so I think that at the beginning, when you first meet someone, you kind of know that maybe, or you know right away not. You know that he's just not the one for you. So I think it's the person, what the person gives back and how you feel about them. And if you think that maybe the first date was good and you kind of like them and you want to go the second time, by the third time, you know if you want that joker or not.
Right.
You know, absolutely not. He's not my type. I don't like the way he's treating me. I don't like the way he acts around me. He's just not my type. So you dump him and try somebody else.
I don't think you should invest too many years in someone like that. I would, like Cheryl was saying, right out the gate, when you're first meeting someone, a woman usually knows if if the guy's going to be a keeper or not. And to be honest, I know for myself, for certain behaviors, I have like my negotiables and my non-negotiables. There are some things I'm not gonna tolerate. So I will get rid of you in the first 6 months, depending on how often we see each other and how often we speak. But, I wouldn't invest too many years into someone. Like I wouldn't go past maybe 2 years because, you are talking about a grown man. I mean, my mama always told me, you can't make grown folks do nothing they don't want to do. But sometimes, some people want to change and they'll show you that they want to change. They just need a little bit of guidance. But I wouldn't invest too many years because I know that when I realized me and my husband was a done deal, I know my mom asked me the question, are you willing to wait 10 years for the Lord to say, before she could put the question mark at the end of the sentence, I said no, because I didn't have 10 years to waste on him getting his life together. So there was things that I just couldn't tolerate anymore because it started to affect the children. So in my opinion, for me, maybe I wouldn't go past maybe 1 to 2 years, and that's probably with some things.
Well, sometimes it takes longer than that for you to see if
right out the beginning.
I mean, when I dated somebody, it takes if you're dating someone, it takes a minute to figure out, if this is the guy for you. I mean, it takes a minute because, you're not dating someone just to be dating for 6 months and jump in with somebody else. You're dating, it's an investment. And it takes a minute to figure out if this person is the guy. You got to go through some ups and downs to see if this is going to stand the test of time. You got to go through some stuff. And so to see if this person for you to see if it's going to go through some challenges and some tests of time. You don't know the person in 1 to 2 years. I mean, 1 to 2 years, he can be the perfect person in those 1 to 2 years. You ain't gonna see what really the shit's going on until the 3rd and 4th time. You're not gonna really see anything. Yeah. I mean,
well, look at your age, Felicia. You can't.
I don't
see the red flags early on.
I don't think age has nothing to do with finding the perfect kind of love, Glenda. Because I mean, you got people. I don't think age. I mean, I'm 63. I'll be 63. Okay, never been married, no kids. but it's not because I'm limiting to myself not being in a relationship. I could have had many relationships. I could have been married not many times, but it's my choice not to get in a relationship because whatever reason my choices are. It's not because I couldn't find a man,
Right.
you know, so it has nothing to do with the amount of time or how many years I spent with the man. It has nothing to do with any of those years. Nothing that has to do with any of that. It's my personal choice, you know, so it has nothing to do with age, period. And I'm not that old that I can't get with the husband. I'm only 63. And like I'm crippled, can't walk with a cane, can't get a man.
Right.
So it's just personal choice and personal reason. At 63, I'm looking for more than a physical relationship. You know, I'm looking for more than, you know, it's more to it than just physical for me at this stage in my life.
Stability.
Exactly, stability.
And knowing your worth.
Exactly. So it's more to that than just for me, just, you know, I can go, you know, I get men every day. There's somebody approaching me with something, you know, so, you know, I 31-year-old, 41-year-old, because they don't know that I'm 63. Right. So it's not that I can't capture a man, but I'm not just out looking for just any man, you know. So, and then, you know, and it's just, you know, I want someone to treat me right. You know, what that looks like for me, it looks different for everybody. So I want it to look, you know, and how, you know, so I want to be treated right, you know, and I've been in many relationships that, you know, that have been toxic. So sometimes people can't see what a healthy relationship looks like. When you haven't been in a healthy relationship, you cannot see you can't see what a good relationship looks like because you've been in so many unhealthy ones. It's hard for you to see what one healthy one looks like. If that makes any sense to anybody.
It does. Felicia, we're going to the last 3 minutes, and you raised some very interesting topics. As a matter of fact, I think you kind of gave some things that we can consider in and probably next week or the next week after that, some topics that we can use, because you had that selection process is the key. That when you first get in a relationship, that runway, that time you see them to the time you guys start getting together, most people call it a runway. And in that runway is you have to kind of decide, is this the person or not the person? So there are some things need to be considered in that runway before you choose them or they choose you. So you just gave us a great topic, Felicia. So I appreciate that. And when we have that topic, I want you to kind of add more to what you're saying now, because you got, matter of fact, that could be a whole section what you just talked about. And I can tell the sincerity in your voice. So we need to use that in one of our episodes so everybody can benefit from that. Because sometimes when you speak your truth, it helps you as well as so many others. Because a lot of times we go through the same things you go through, we just don't know how to verbalize it.
Right. We need a bold to speak up tonight.
Yeah. So if you give us that energy, man, that's beautiful. So everybody, it's 2 minutes before we close. So anybody got any last comments before we close down? Because we're going to close out for the night. If no comments, I appreciate you. You guys did a marvelous job. I really appreciate your comments. You guys brought some interesting things out. The only question I want you to leave with is, the last time you was loved, what was the love language that affected you the most? And that's something to grow on. I don't want you to answer now, but when we sign off, think about the last time you were loved. What love language did that person use? You don't have to answer that, and I just want you. We're closing out, everybody.
I was just going to say good night.
Okay, good night, everybody. Thank you, guys.
Good night, everybody. Good night.
We're cutting off the recording right now.